Hey everybody. Today I'm actually having an interview with Uzziel Abrigo. She is a real estate agent, and I met her through a friend. I've known her for about 2 years, and I hope she actually operates out of New Rochelle right now. And I hope that you guys enjoy this interview and learn about how she operates. And I hope you guys send her send her business and help her reach her goal. One of her goals is to actually become a real estate broker and train other real estate agents. Hi, I am here with Uzziel Abrigo. She is a realtor with one of the top real estate investment company. Uzziel, thank you for coming on to this interviews of local businesses. The reason why I'm actually doing this is actually it was an idea from a friend of mine. There's a lot of businesses in my area, local area, that has actually gone out of business, and there's not a lot of foot traffic around. So I actually wanted to get share the stories online so that people can go patronize their business. So you are one of the realtors that I know actually, and I actually like what you do, and I'd like to have you share your story and how you got started, and basically, hopefully, people will call you when they want to buy real estate from you. Okay?
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you for inviting me and doing this interview. I think this is a great work that you're doing here.
My pleasure. So how long? Let me ask you, how long have you been a realtor?
I've been a realtor for almost 6 years now.
Okay. And how did you get started in it?
Well, I've always been in sales.
Okay.
I worked for vector marketing all throughout college, and uh,
Tell me a little bit about vector marketing.
so vector marketing is a marketing company that sells expensive knives, Cutco.
Okay. Okay.
And they have they have a very aggressive marketing team for young entrepreneurs and young, sales minded people. And I've always been in sales. I've always liked working with people and curating to what their needs are. In this case, knives,
Okay.
very good, high quality knives. And I really like their approach to sales. And I worked throughout college, starting with the people that I know, then calling people, getting to know what they like to cook in the kitchen, getting to know, what it is that they cook with, their utensils that they cook
Hmm.
with. The kitchen is the heart of the home, and so getting to know what people like to eat, getting to know what they cook with at the time was very interesting to me because I love to eat. So I put that together, and I sold a lot of knives throughout
Wow.
college. It really helped me a lot throughout college. So um, I thought it was a great opportunity, and up until now, I still sell them actually. I for closing gifts, I
Huh.
gift a set of Cutco knives to the people that I sell houses to.
Wow.
So yeah, yeah, it's a lifetime guarantee for the knives, and yeah, it's definitely a value that I offer,
So what
and
about the
I
skills that you learned from there? I mean, how would you say that would how how much of a success do you think it for your business?
yeah. So as a young person starting out, having a well, at first having a script to go by,
Okay.
asking a set of questions to know exactly what the person might need in the kitchen, understanding the reason for asking the questions,
Okay.
the reasons behind that. After a while, knowing what to ask for. This way, you could, I learned over time that you learn to service the person based on their needs.
Okay.
So I can apply that in real estate where when not selling knives now, I'm selling um, the most expensive asset that one can own. But really getting to know them, getting to know what their needs are, having that trust built as a foundation first and foremost would be the trust, and then learning what it is that they need in this transaction, learning what their goals are, their priorities are, and curating my services towards what it is that they need is very, very vital. So, um, so yeah, it started off with that. It's the training that Vector provided. It's the script. It's learning to know what questions to ask, how to get to know people, build that rapport. I think that's the most important thing, building the rapport, building that relationship with the person, and then building the trust, building that good relationship with the person, and then servicing based on that relationship.
What area are you servicing right now?
Right now, I am in Westchester County.
Okay.
Um, I've sold as far as Dutchess, Putnam, and Orange County. I now have um, a very good relationship with a lot of realtors everywhere. And so these markets that are really too far for me to go service, I refer these people out to the realtors in that market area. But right now, my market area is Westchester, primarily New Rochelle, Ardsley, Greenberg, White Plains, and
Okay.
Portchester.
So what are you specializing in? Is there something like apartment buildings, residential, or you taking more?
Yeah, I do a lot of residential homes. And recently I've gotten into commercial. I
Oh,
have a
okay.
listing here in New Rochelle. It's a 5-family home. Um, and it's doing quite well for sellers in this market, in this area in Westchester. Sellers really do have the leverage, um, and strong buyers, strong offerers would have the advantage.
And how are you currently getting your business?
That's a great question. So a lot of my business comes from personal relationships. I always go back to personal relationships.
Okay.
That's my war market. It's my past clients, family. I talk to them a lot about real estate in the current market, and it's a very um, again, it's a very personal relationship that you must have with these people, because people who trust you and have, people who have done business with me are happy with the work that I've done, so they refer me to their friends.
Okay.
And so I got a lot of my business right now from personal relationships and past clients. And then the rest of the relationships I have are from Facebook, Instagram marketing. Yeah, that's more of a cold market, but it takes more work to try to build rapport with them and build a relationship with them. But I find those people they have, we need a lot more hand holding with them, a lot more nurturing.
Okay.
But I work with them as well. Yeah.
Do you have like a process of when a client comes to meet with you? How do you begin to work with them?
Well, how do I begin to work with them? Well, I ask them. Well, I have a series of questions that I ask them. I get to know what the motive is of why they're looking into real estate.
Okay.
Are you looking to buy? Are you looking to sell? Two completely different scenarios there. But let's say for a buyer, I asked them, what's your motive for moving? Are you downsizing? Are you upsizing? Where are you looking? How much are you looking to spend? That's a very important thing. And then, based on those answers, I go off of, where should I start looking? If you're pre-approved for a certain amount over this amount, I need to know exactly which market to look in based on those qualifications.
What is I guess what is one of your best clients that you've
Oh, okay.
if it's all right for me to ask?
No, no, I no, that's a great question. The best client I would say would have to be someone who I have a good relationship with. Definitely, hands down. It starts off with building a good rapport from the beginning, good trust.
Okay.
Okay, they have to allow me to help them in this transaction, or in this experience for them, because um, there's a lot of money at stake. So whether they're purchasing or selling, there's going to be a lot of money at stake. So they have to be able to trust me as a realtor to get them from point A to point B, whether I'm buying or selling a house for them.
Okay.
So building that trust, building a rapport, and having a good communication with them, so that this way I'd be able to service them and have this fiduciary obligation just for them. I'm representing them, I'm loyal to them, and I am curating my services around their goals. So having a very good communication with them, and always having to be in the same page with them is the most important. So a good client would have those things.
You have any stories of bad clients, or we can
Oh,
go into that?
I do. I would say I don't have that many stories. I only have a handful. That's how I remember.
Okay.
Um, and it's not really, it's not really, I would say, anybody's fault. It's just that some things just don't pan out, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had a story where I was representing the buyer, okay, and we've looked for a couple of months to find a home for them and their family. They were a grown family, and we had an accepted offer for this beautiful home, okay, in a cul-de-sac. Actually, he was here in New Rochelle, and they had spent X amount of dollars on an inspection, and they go by square footage. And after having spent this much money on an inspection and a contractor, the seller decided not to sign a contract with them.
Oh,
Yeah, they ended up having to sell it to somebody else.
okay.
And at that point, it's very easy to, I
Get
guess,
discouraged?
well, for them, yes, and to blame the realtor for not pushing the deal hard enough.
Did they get their money back, or?
No, no, there's a caveat in New York State that
Oh,
it's a buyer's beware state, that if you spend X amount of money on however many inspections
huh.
you do on a house, the seller does not have to reimburse you, your money back for the inspection.
Okay.
So yeah, it's very tough. So yeah, and it's tough, and they yes, they did get very discouraged. They stopped looking, and I felt very bad. And I mean, for one, they couldn't get the house that they absolutely love. I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't get paid for that months that I was taking them out on. And I mean, it is what it is, and not everything pans out. So they would just have to wait. They would just have to wait until another house that they absolutely love came on the market, and then put an offer on that house,
Okay.
and hopefully for that seller not to change their mind again. So
Okay.
it's a very big risk. So yeah.
How has COVID upended or whatever the real estate industry for you? I mean, has anything changed in terms of how buyers are coming to you now,
Um,
or how they're going to see houses?
okay, so so for sellers, I would say, well, from experience, I have been working a lot with sellers lately. It is a seller's market, so people are a lot more encouraged to put their house in the market knowing that they have the leverage. But these two recent houses I have up on the market, the multifamily home, which is fully occupied, have their tenants have not been so cooperative or
Okay.
welcoming, I should say, to let people in and out of
Hmm.
the house
Okay.
because of COVID. Especially at the height of the flu season, people were really
Oh.
scared. Yeah, yeah, people were really scared. So, and I don't blame them. I mean, I would, sometimes I even get scared going into people's houses, especially knowing that someone might be sick. So I don't blame them. As for buyers, I mean, people who have the money to go out there, and they go out there with their PPE, mask,
Hmm.
gloves, and they have the money to buy it, and they're taking advantage of this low interest rate. I mean, we have historic lows interest rate, and nothing's really changed. But as for sellers, especially those houses that are occupied, um, that's a big change for the way people would want to welcome people into their own homes, knowing
Okay.
that the COVID is out there. Yeah.
Has I guess like technology, virtual. I see a lot of virtual showings.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
How's
Yeah.
that worked?
I think that is such a great industry now. Virtual showings, Matterport. There's so much stuff out there. I think that's something that I really should have invested on prior to putting this house in the market, because it really was a fight for me to get people in the house, and to market the house. You have to. That's part of marketing the house, is getting people in the house and seeing what they're buying.
Hmm.
So that really something I should have thought about. Um, you know, putting money in, doing the Matterport, and the virtual showings. Um, yeah, I should have looked into it. Maybe you can help me out with that, Benson. You know all the good technology these days.
Well, we'll see. Want to ask you. I think you mentioned that you're doing that you got into real estate investing.
Yeah, yeah.
What, say anything about that?
Yeah. Commercial real estate is one. It's
Okay.
completely different. Uh, it's a completely different sandbox in real estate, but yeah, that's a different story. But investing, as far as passive income rental,
Okay.
I like that it's another source of income for people who are looking into investing into it.
So as a realtor, you have access to a lot of properties, so you can talk to talk to people, not just home buyers, but people who want to invest in real estate. So that's something you can connect with to talk about their language.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know, as an entrepreneur, having your business, do you have any kind of morning routine that you're currently doing, or you just get up whenever you feel like?
I wish I can get up whenever I feel like. I wish I could do that. Yeah, I have, well, I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning every day. Um,
Wow.
yeah, I have to, because the best things happen in the morning time when everything is quiet. And I wake up, and this is my routine, even on Sundays. Because,
Wow.
yeah, well, because I'm so used to the routine now that Sundays is just like another day for me. I mean, Sundays are slower, but I wake up in the morning, I do a little meditation, you know, be grateful of the things that I have, and I work off of that a lot.
Okay.
And then once I have that set, I do a little exercise. I try to, at least. And then what I do is I start off my calls. I have an agenda for the day. Who am I going to call today? Who am I closing today? I have a set of things that I want to do in a set time.
Okay.
And I even have this stuff in an alarm clock, just so that I know I'm not spending more time on one task than I have to.
Okay.
It's very easy for me to get into one thing and focus on that and forget about everything else. So I have a set time for every task that I have during that day.
Wow.
Yeah, it takes a lot of discipline. It took me maybe 10 to 11 days for me to actually develop that discipline.
Okay.
Um, but it's work, and I have a daughter who I'm homeschooling. So between all that, I have to, I have to stop what I'm doing and go to mommy mode. Go in mommy mode. There she goes. I have to go in mommy mode and make sure that she is staying on task.
Okay.
So yeah.
What about? Are you reading any kind of books right now? I mean, any
Yeah.
specific book you want to share with anybody who's watching?
Yeah, I'm studying, honing down on my discipline. For most people, I feel like in the beginning of the year they start on a resolution. I think it's a great thing. Although resolution should take place every day. So I have a book. It's called um, The Power of Discipline.
Okay.
The Power of Discipline. You should check it out. It's a really great book, and these things that we already know. But what's stopping us from doing these things that we know we should be doing? So I write down all my notes. I find it easier to write everything down. This way I can go back to what it is that I've done and what I still have to do.
Okay.
Big part of it. But really, it's developing a routine, developing your discipline to stick with that routine throughout the day, and then developing a habit to continue it throughout the week.
I'm nearing the end of the interview. Just a couple more questions. Uh, what are three tips that you can give to someone who's looking to buy a home?
Okay.
I'm trying to give you all the easy questions.
Yeah. I appreciate that. No, I guess it depends. It depends on, really, I would say a big part of it is financing.
Okay.
So, three tips, okay. The number one tip I would say is be frugal. Definitely be frugal. Um, have a well, you know what? The first thing I would say is have a team of people that you trust, a team of professionals that you trust
Okay.
to know that you'll be able to get that house. Okay, so whether it be a person, a mortgage lender that you know you can talk financial things with. Okay, go to this mortgage person and pick their brains, ask them, especially first time home buyer, ask them a series of questions before committing to it. And
Okay.
then, yes, because there's so much to it. Okay. And then the second thing is a realtor and a lawyer that you know who can represent you and your interest in mind. That's those are the things that I would say. And then the second thing is again, just be frugal. Be frugal and don't take out any loans or open up any new credit card accounts or a lead prior to buying a home because that has a significant impact on their pre-approval process to get a mortgage.
My last question is, if someone wanted to get into the real estate business, what would you recommend? How would you suggest that being a
Um,
salesperson, being a realtor?
um,
Or would you advise them, I don't need any more competition?
no, no, competition is good. I like competition, and I think competition drives innovation. So I actually have a few realtors that new realtors that I recommended like years ago to get their license and recently got licensed, and I'm applauding them for it. It's definitely a business that takes time to grow and for it to take off. So I think it's great if one wants to get a license to be a real estate agent. I think it's fantastic. Go for it. But if you do decide that you want to become a real estate agent, I would say talk to interview brokers that you know of. So whether
Mm.
it be Keller Williams or Century 21, EXP or Exit or Compass. Compass is a very big one, right? It's a new and upcoming one from the city. But interview these brokers, learn their model, learn how they conduct business, make sure you feel comfortable with the broker and the culture that the broker provides, and
Mm.
then based off of those things, make a decision as to who you want your broker to be. And then the license part is, it's the same across the board. You have to study for your license. It's the prerequisite, and then study for your license. But a lot of these things that you're studying for, you won't really apply until you're in the field, when you're in the middle of a deal. You learn
Okay.
most of this stuff in real life when you're in the middle of, you know, representing that person. So when you have these questions, you go back to your broker. You go back to your broker and you ask your broker, "Hey, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing this the right way?" So you want to have that good relationship with your broker to be able to ask those questions. So it also always starts back to relationship. Have a good relationship and a good comfortable foundation prior to joining. A broker has to hold your license. So yeah, it's important to know and trust and feel comfortable with that broker prior to your license. Yeah.
Okay, I am done.